Robert Tellis, the convicted killer, is speaking out from his from the jailhouse where he's being held now, just temporarily. He's going to be sent off to prison very soon. But right now he's in jail in Clark County, Nevada, and our Matt Johnson went down to the jail and was able to secure an interview with the now convicted killer. He is maintaining his innocence, saying this jury got it all wrong. He didn't kill anybody. He's not that kind of, he's a family man who would never be capable of this kind of crime. Let's pick up our interview. Matt Johnson, Robert Tellis, right where we left off.
And they were asking for those pieces of evidence.
I don't know, I was still hopeful, you know, that they would see my innocence, but that was about it.
When the jury came back and we were all waiting, and then they asked you to stand at that defense table and they read the verdict, what went through your mind then?
That unfortunately they got it wrong, and that it's time to continue on with my work and try to get home.
You know, I know that you say that you believe that they got it wrong. Again, I want to circle back to how are you going to continue your investigation and to prove your innocence, since you really believe that, while behind bars, while in prison?
I think there are potentially a couple different ways, and we'll see whether or not they pan out. Currently, there's a lawsuit that between me and some of the folks in the office where I could potentially get some of the discovery that would connect some of the players, and then there's a lawsuit that I've filed against certain officers that may net some of the information that I need. But we'll see about that particular lawsuit. I know they're going to try to dismiss it now with a conviction, but that again could take years by the time we get to the point where I can get anything to demonstrate more of what is going on here.
You were convicted less than 48 hours ago. Why is it important for you to speak out now? You have not been sentenced yet, and if you're going to be asking for an appeal, anything you say right now can be used against you. You know that.
Right. Well, and then again, you know, obviously, I'm here because, you know, folks like yourself wanted to speak to me, and certainly, like I said, I'm innocent, and you know, if my standing up and continuing to declare my innocence is going to hurt my chances for an appeal, then so be it. But I should certainly hope not. You know, I should hope that my declaring my innocence should not be, you know, reason for any judge to be punitive, for any judge to decide that you know, that they're going to put me away for longer, or they're going to deny my appeal. So we'll certainly see whether there is any kind of repercussion for me continuing to say that I'm innocent, and if it is, it's wrong. But we'll see.
How did the DNA get under the victim's fingernails, and that was your DNA?
That, again, I don't know, sir. Because then, like I said, I don't know that it was ever under his fingernails. I did not kill Mr. Gurman. I know that's what, you know, they say that my DNA was under his nails, but I don't know how that may have occurred.
Why were the shoes cut up underneath your couch?
I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing. If supposedly I was the person who committed this crime, why not just throw those things away? It makes no sense to cut up shoes.
And the same would be, why cut up a hat? And why get rid of other items? According to prosecutors and according to your conviction, this jury believes you killed Mr. Gehrman, you came home, you cut up the shoes, you cut up the hat, but then you got rid of other items, including the orange shirt, the pants, and the murder weapon. How did those items still get in your home if they're trying to frame you? Where is the murder weapon?
And again, so just what you're saying makes no sense, right? I mean, you know, if I were the killer and I got rid of some of the items, why wouldn't I get rid of all of the items at once? It makes no sense. And then on top of that, the alleged hiding places for these items, one was under my couch, and then another was an open toolbox. Again, it just doesn't make any sense.
If you believe that the jury got it wrong and you are still innocent, what is your message to that jury then? They vested so much time and did their civil duty. What's your message to the jury?
Yeah, I appreciate that they felt they did their duty, but they got it wrong. But again, beyond that, there's not much else I can say. You know, I'm focused on trying to prove my innocence and trying to get home.
Did you kill Jeff German?
I did not, sir, no.
And again, your message to his family.
And I am very sorry for their loss. You know, we've all been through a lot with this situation. And I'm hoping that, you know, that they too can, you know, when they move on. And it's a horrible, horrible situation all around. We're all suffering for it.
Why did your team decide to go with the narrative versus you being asked questions on the stand? It appeared to me that the jury was never given an explanation for that, and that's what juries expect. They expect the defense team to ask questions. Why did you choose narrative?
Well, I chose a narrative style just because, again, I had so much to say that it would have been so difficult for us to get through it all if we were doing it in a question and answer form. You know, just like in any, you know, and again, I'm not testifying as an expert witness, but oftentimes when an expert witness testifies, you know, they're given a question and they'll elaborate quite a bit on that one particular question. I had so many particular questions that I wanted to answer that for us to do it in a question and answer form would have just been so tedious. I think we would have lost the jury well before, you know, we got halfway through my testimony. So that's why it was a narrative.
Is there anything that you wish you had said that you think could have changed your trial?
I think if perhaps I'd, you know, again, I thought we made it clear that I was home when that SUV drove into my neighborhood. If it was not, maybe I wish I would have hammered on that more to just say, hey, look, I mean, I cannot be in two places at once, so you got to consider that. I mean, I was at home. So I think that would have been pretty definitive as far as, you know, evidence goes that I'm innocent. But beyond that, I think we did what we could.
Prosecutors say that you were not home, that your cell phone was home, and that's the reason why your wife was wondering where you were.
If you recall, again, their own expert testified that at 8:50 a.m. I was using my phone, texting. And at 9, so at home at 8:50, texting, and then this SUV comes into my neighborhood at 9:10. So even their evidence shows the same. Like I said, that's what I needed to hammer on more, I think, and perhaps that got lost in all the shuffle of all this evidence, I think.
Is there any other evidence that you had hoped that the jury would see that you think could have changed the outcome?
I think a bit more of the evidence regarding motivations behind Detective Jappy's actions would have perhaps demonstrated that, you know, Detective Jappy was not just doing his job.
Okay, that was it. The feed cut off because the time was limited from the jail, so that was it. The interview with Matt Johnson and Robert Tellis. He sticking to his story, saying that he didn't do it, saying the jury got it wrong, and that he plans to appeal down the line, acknowledging it's going to take several years to even maybe get some real ammunition for an eventual appeal. But Matt asked him, are you sure you want to do this? Because parole is based a lot on the conduct of the individual, and part of that is accepting and also basically admitting it and saying you're sorry on different levels through actions and words. He is a long way from that, but he's also a long way from for his first parole hearing. Michael Jeffers watching, National Trial Attorney, Big Case Mike.